Every year, the carnival sets up on the same patch of dirt outside town. And every year, I swear there's a new tent that wasn't there before. This year, it was the striped one at the end of the midway. Red and white like a candy cane, glowing faintly from within. No one else seemed to notice it. Not the vendors, not the families, not even my friends. But I couldn't take my eyes off it. The sign above the entrance read, "The Candyman's Tent. Sweets that bring joy back to life." I should have kept walking. Inside, it smelled like roasted sugar and old wood. The air shimmered, warm and sticky. Rows of glass jars lined the counters, each one filled with candies, shaped like strange little trinkets, rings, keys, watches. And at the back stood the Candyman himself. He wasn't like the other carnival folk. His skin had a polished sheen, almost waxy, and when he smiled, it didn't quite reach his eyes. "First time?" he asked, voice smooth like syrup. I nodded. "Yeah, what are these?" He lifted a jar and tapped the glass. Inside was a piece of candy shaped exactly like my sister's locket, the one she'd been wearing the night she drowned in the quarry 5 years ago. "This one," he said softly, "is special. One taste and you'll feel her again." Just for a moment, my throat tightened. "How much?" He smiled wider. "Just a memory." Before I could ask what that meant, he pressed the candy into my palm. It was warm, pulsing faintly like a heartbeat. I hesitated, but curiosity and grief won. The moment the sugar touched my tongue, the carnival vanished. I was standing barefoot in the field behind our old house, sunlight on my skin, the air thick with the smell of wildflowers. And there she was, Maya, laughing, alive, exactly as she'd been before. "Hey, Slowpoke," she said, tossing me a dandelion. "You always forget to make a wish." I tried to speak, but my voice broke. She touched my cheek, warm, real. "You can stay, you know," she whispered. "You don't have to wake up this time." That's when I noticed the horizon melting, the sun dripping like honey, the grass turning to sugar crystals under our feet. And behind Maya, a shadow moved. It had the Candyman's grin. I screamed. The world cracked like glass. I woke up outside the tent, lying in the dirt. The candy was gone. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. The warmth, her voice, her touch. When I went back the next evening, the tent was gone. Only a ring of melted sugar on the ground remained. But people started disappearing after that. Classmates, teachers, a woman from the post office. Their laughter echoed faintly when the wind passed the empty field. Last night, I went back again. The tent had returned. The Candyman was waiting. "I told you," he said. "They never want to leave." Behind him, I saw the jars on the shelves. Each one glowed softly, filled not with candy, but with tiny, sugar-coated faces. And one of them was smiling at me. "Maya," she mouthed, "stay." The Candyman held out another locket-shaped sweet. "This time," he said, "it'll last forever." I took it, because deep down, I think that's what I wanted all along. I've worked night shifts at the old carnival grounds for nearly 10 years, and nothing ever really happens after midnight until that night. The fair had shut down hours ago. The rides were dead silhouettes under the buzzing floodlights, and I was halfway through my thermos of stale coffee when the Ferris wheel lit up by itself. Not a slow flicker, full power. All the bulbs came alive in perfect sync, bleeding gold and red across the empty lot. "Probably a short circuit," Luis muttered beside me, though he didn't sound convinced. The control booth was locked, but the wheel began turning on its own. Slow at first, then steady. I felt the metal shudder through the ground. The walkie on my belt crackled with static, and through the noise a faint voice whispered, "Take your seats." We should have run, but we didn't. Curiosity is a funny thing. It dulls fear, so when the wheel's gates opened with a hiss, we climbed in. The moment I sat down, the lap bar slammed shut. The ride lurched forward. At first it was normal. the city lights in the distance, the hum of the motor. But when we came down again, something was wrong. The carnival below wasn't empty anymore. Crowds moved between the tents, but their faces, God, their faces. Every single one of them had their mouths stitched closed, the thread glinting silver in the midway lights. The calliope played backward, notes dragging like dying breaths. Luis shouted, "Hey, we gotta stop this thing." But his voice echoed strangely, like it was being repeated from far away, then whispered back in reverse. The wheel climbed again. The next revolution. The carnival had changed completely. The rides were rusted skeletons. The clowns in the funhouse were whispering in sync, but backward, their painted grins twitching as we passed overhead. And the announcer's voice boomed over the speakers. But it wasn't from the speakers. It came from inside my walkie, inside my head. One more turn, patience. One more session. That's when I saw the sign below, faintly lit. St. Demuca's Asylum. Therapy ground closed since 1952. My stomach tightened. I'd read about that place. A mental institution burned down decades ago. The carnival had been built right on top of it. Louise grabbed my arm. "This isn't real, man. We're dreaming." But each time we reached the top, we saw a new version of the world below. Sometimes the people were crying, sometimes laughing. Once the entire carnival was silent, frozen mid-motion like a paused film. And every time we reached the bottom, there were fewer of us. One guy vanished from his seat entirely. Another's body was still there, but empty-eyed, breathing, repeating one phrase, "Loop complete." Now it's just me. The wheel hasn't stopped in what feels like days. The voice keeps talking. "Therapy requires repetition," it says. "Admit what you are." And I think I finally understand. We were never maintenance workers. We were patients, all of us. The asylum burned, and this wheel, it's the machine that keeps us remembering. Each revolution pulls us deeper into our own delusion, forcing us to confront it. But I can't remember what my delusion was anymore. Only that the Ferris wheel keeps turning. And no matter how many times I reach the top, I never come down the same. When the carnival came back to our town after 20 years, everyone talked about one thing. The carousel. They said it was restored from the original fair that burned down in the 80s. Nobody knew who rebuilt it. But every banner called it the Carousel of Youth. I wasn't planning to go, but my curiosity got the better of me. The first thing I noticed when I arrived was the music. It didn't sound like normal carnival music. It was slower, deeper, almost like a heartbeat wrapped in melody. The carousel stood in the center of the fairgrounds, lights flickering faintly, as if the bulbs themselves were breathing. Each horse was carved with unnerving precision, muscles tensed, teeth bared, eyes glossy and too human. But what really caught my attention were the mirrors fixed into each horse's forehead. A man in a red tailcoat stood beside the ride, pale and smiling too wide. "Welcome," he said. "The ride is free, if you choose your mirror first." He motioned for me to step closer. I peered into the nearest mirror, expecting to see myself. But instead, I saw an older woman behind me in line. Her face blinked. Her eyes met mine. Only she wasn't looking at her reflection either. She looked terrified. The operator chuckled softly. "Pick wisely. The carousel only takes what you offer." I should have walked away, but something about his voice made me obey. I chose the mirror showing the woman's reflection. The man clapped once, and the carousel lights brightened. "Ride begins," he said. I climbed onto a white horse, its paint chipped around the mouth like old bone showing through. The music swelled. The carousel started moving. Slowly at first, then faster. The lights spun, blurring the crowd into streaks of color. I tried to look for the woman again, but her spot in line was empty. When the ride stopped, the mirrors were dark. I stumbled off, feeling dizzy, but somehow lighter. The operator nodded. "Rest well," he said. That night I couldn't sleep. My skin itched. My thoughts weren't mine. I saw flashes, memories of a husband I didn't know, children calling me mum. When I looked in the mirror, I gasped. My face wasn't my face, it was hers. The woman from the mirror. Panic clawed at my chest. I ran back to the carnival grounds. It was deserted, the rides motionless, the air heavy with silence, but the carousel was still lit. Only now, I noticed something horrifying. The horses weren't empty. Each one had a mannequin riding it. Figures with blank eyes and stiff limbs, dressed exactly like people I'd seen there earlier. I searched frantically until I saw one mannequin wearing my hoodie. Its face was featureless, smooth as wax, but the hair, it was mine. The operator stepped out from behind the ride, his grin wider than before. "You see," he said, "the carousel restores youth by borrowing what's left of others." He pointed toward the mirrors. I saw dozens of faces, screaming, weeping, pounding silently against the glass. And among them was me, my real face, my soul. The operator tipped his hat. "Welcome to the carnival, miss." I tried to scream, but my voice cracked like glass. My reflection blinked back from the mirror, mouthing words I couldn't hear. Then, slowly, I felt my body harden, my vision dimmed. Now every night, I watch through the mirror as new riders take their turn, choosing faces that don't belong to them. And each time the carousel spins, I feel the world blur again. Somewhere out there, someone's wearing my life. And I'm still here, smiling, forever frozen, waiting for the next ride to begin. Thanks for listening. Now close your eyes and sleep.